What's up everyone, it's Sinistry, and today I am here to explain why I don't think Sims is a casual franchise. Throughout this video, I'm going to use Sims 4 as an example because it's the most recent Sims game and it's also the game that I have played the most. Now, a lot of people think that Sims is a casual game, and I can understand why. However, I don't think that it actually fits the definition of what a casual game is. The definition of a casual game is a game that's targeted toward a more mass market audience rather than hobbyist gamers, and also that it's a game that tends to have simpler rules, shorter play sessions, and sometimes doesn't require any learned skill in order to play. Although on the surface it might seem like Sims does very well fit into this definition, I actually don't think that's the case at all, and I have a couple of reasons why, which we're going to dive into. But before we jump in, if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. I make these kinds of videos on Mondays and Thursdays, and I would love to make more Sims content for all of you. Now let's jump in and start off with Create a Sim. Create a Sim might seem like a piece of the game that isn't really outside of the casual game spectrum. In this mode, you build your Sim's appearance, their personality, all of their different traits like their body type, their outfits, everything, and you give them their own unique style and their own look and kind of set them up with the foundation for what they'll take into the game. Also, noting here that you can do the same thing with pets if you have the pet expansion in Sims 4, which adds another level of complexity to Create a Sim. Now, if you're trying to base your Sims off of real people, maybe you're trying to base it off of celebrities or people in your own life, you can actually spend hours developing a single Sim to make them super accurate. There are seemingly infinite possibilities for customization because even the smallest of features can be tweaked in Create a Sim. You can actually go into detail mode and you can tweak everybody's face just slightly here and there. So you can really make whoever you want as exactly as you want. In addition, you can also create really unique personalities. There aren't as many customizations here because, personality traits have a limited number, but you can still make some really unique combinations which make for interesting characters. Personally, I don't think that Create a Sim is a very casual part of the game at all because people do sometimes literally spend hours on Create a Sim, and sometimes people only play Create a Sim. I've definitely had play sessions where I've basically set up my Sims and then I have had a couple hours go by and I'm like, I'm tired, I don't want to play the game anymore, and then I come back to it at a different time. So unlike a lot of other games, I think that this character builder is just so complex and it really does add to more of the intense nature of Sims 4. That being said, a possibly equally or even more intense feature is home customization. There are a lot of people who spend just as much time, if not even more time, building homes in Sims. A lot of times these homes are uploaded to the gallery, which you can then share with the entire world, and you can show off some really complex homes that you've built, or even just some nice shells of homes for people to customize on their own. In the gallery, you can find homes from Victorian mansions to beach bungalows to tiny houses and modern architecture and all kinds of different buildings. Home customization is so intense that some people even use cheats to make it easier to place objects exactly where they want them instead of just going based off of the normal grid system. And though a lot of people put houses in the gallery, there are also tons of different locations for you to inhabit in the Sims world. There are tons of different areas, and you can find some really nice houses there that you either move right into or you can kind of make them like a shell. You can make them unfurnished and then you can furnish them yourselves. Because there are so many options for customization within the home building feature, you can really spend, again, hours or sometimes even days just building a single house for your Sims. I personally know of a lot of people who just build homes in Sims, or they might build homes and also do Create a Sim, but realistically, there's a lot of overlap between these types of players. Now again, on the surface, you might think, well, what's the big deal? You're just drawing a couple of buildings, but there's actually a lot that goes into building homes, creating Sims, all of these different things. It takes a lot of work, and you actually have to sometimes learn specific techniques in order to pull it off. Like I mentioned, there are a lot of Victorian homes within the Sims gallery, and you would be very surprised at how difficult it is to create a beautiful Victorian home that doesn't somehow impede your entire way of living within The Sims. This is because the home customization feature isn't really that great at times, and sometimes, for example, you might have a roof over a room next to you, and the roof will actually go into the room in the middle of the house. So it's very difficult at times to get things exactly as you want, which means that honestly, sometimes people spend dozens of hours just trying to figure out how to do something that they want within The Sims home customization. And there are so many tutorials out there on how to do these very difficult tasks. But I have rambled enough about Create a Sim and home customization, so let's now talk about creating plots within Sims 4. Within Sims 4, there are so many options for how you can interact with the world around you. This has led to a lot of people creating entire plots and storylines and basically like their own TV show within The Sims. Some people have even tried to replicate movies or TV shows or just other works of fiction within The Sims itself and play out these different plots that they have seen in other forms of media. It's really interesting because, like I said, these, creating Sims, building the homes, creating your set pieces, all of these different things, they take a lot of time. And so people actually spend so much time setting up these different plots just to play them out. And then playing them out is also kind of difficult because you do have certain interactions that you can do, but sometimes you are limited and your Sims do have needs and all of these different things. So there are workarounds. I think there are ways to do this easier, but a lot of people do spend tons and tons of time just trying to recreate these kinds of plots or kind of set up their own plots and play them out the way that they imagined. Also, Sims now can remember past interactions and that can influence them in the future. So this actually adds a ton to the gameplay of Sims. So one component that actually plays into the Sims complexity is the DLC. Not all DLC is created equal. You have expansion packs, which cost the most and add the most gameplay and the most objects to the game. Then you have game packs, which are kind of like a step down from expansion packs, but do still add gameplay elements and also more items. Then you have stuff packs, which just add items. And then you have kits, which are basically smaller stuff packs. Because there are 4 different types of DLC, people can spend literally hundreds of dollars on Sims, which I think makes this game definitely not a casual game. I just saw an article actually from 2020 that said it costs over $600 to buy every pack within Sims 4, which at this point is 2 years out of date. I think at some point in time, it'll probably cross the threshold into $1,000, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are several people out there who own every single pack. Some packs are kind of niche. For example, there is a Star Wars pack that I don't think a lot of people got, but in reality, most players get at least a couple of different packs, which means they're already spending at least a couple $100s. You can get some of these packs on sale, but again, it's more so about just purchasing more content for this game and playing it more in depth. People are always looking for more opportunities to add to The Sims 4, and I think that is just kind of a fact that makes this game not as casual as you'd think. Adding on to this point, there is also a ton of custom content and mods for The Sims 4. Now, as a disclaimer, I have not had any custom content or mods downloaded because I don't primarily play Sims 4. I do play it a lot, but it's not one of my primary games, so I haven't stepped into that world. But I know there are tons of people who swear by it and who say you absolutely cannot play Sims 4 without custom content or mods. Some of the custom content actually makes up for the issues that EA has had to resolve over the years. For example, there were not nearly enough POC hairstyles and skin tones, and that really caused some hubbub within the community. People were not happy about this at all, and I can totally understand why. So as a result, there were a lot of people who were creating custom content with unique hairstyles, with more texture, creating different skin tones, and eventually EA started to implement more of these features, but it's still not really at the level that people wish. In addition, people add mods to Sims 4 that do absolutely crazy things. For example, there are mods where you can basically play GTA with Sims. I mean, you can do all kinds of criminal acts. You can just basically live whatever kind of life you want, even if it's very taboo or just crazy. People add all kinds of content that EA definitely would not provide on their own, and it adds a whole other level of play to this game. I know at one point in time, at least, people used to charge for custom content and mods, but I don't think they were ever allowed to do that, so I think EA had kind of cracked down on it at one point. But that just kind of goes to show that people are still willing to spend tons and tons of money on new Sims content. I think the reason why so many people are willing to buy the DLC or download custom content and do these kinds of things is because there are a lot of people who are what I would call Sim specialists. Sim specialists, as you can imagine, are people who pretty much only play Sims and spend hundreds or even thousands of hours on the single game without even going out of their way to try any other games. Again, you might kind of think that this signals that the Sims players are very casual audiences because they're not, real gamers who are playing all different kinds of games and always looking for the new releases. However, there are lots of people who just play like a single shooter or a single RPG or stuff like that. And those people are also considered, hardcore gamers, or at least, hobbyist gamers, if you will. And in reality, Sims can be just as complex as really any RPG, if not even more complex, because you have so much customization, you can create so many crazy plots. I know that it's not like the same as, let's say, a fantasy RPG, like you can't do that level of stuff, but there is a lot within The Sims, and as far as gameplay goes, I think it's just as intense, if not even more so, compared to some of these different games. But really, to wrap up this whole argument, I think that the reason why people say that Sims is a casual game is because of its targeted market. Sims primarily targets teenage girls, and I think that a lot of people love to hate on things that teenage girls love. I know that sometimes they're a little bit cringy. I know that sometimes maybe they tend to be wishy-washy with their interests, and so maybe some people will like The Sims for a little bit, and then they'll like Stardew Valley, and then, whatever. I get that. But I don't think that that means we should just automatically discount this game, because it's absolutely insane how much goes into this game and how many people play this nonstop. To sum up all of my thoughts, I really just think that Sims deserves much more respect from the community. I know that it is a game that people can pick up and play pretty easily, but to do the more advanced things within Sims, to be more of a Sims player rather than just like a casual Sims player, you do have to learn a lot of techniques. You have to spend hours, sometimes hundreds of dollars, to get the kinds of features that you want within this game. I don't think that it's fair to discount that at all, just because probably a majority of the players are, teen to young adult women. But really, that's everything I have to say about The Sims being or not being a casual game. However, I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Do you consider Sims a casual game? Do you play Sims? Do you play primarily casual games? Let me know. I would love to know how you would kind of classify this game. I don't really know how I would classify it, but I definitely think it's not just a casual game to a lot of people. But with that being said, again, please like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. It really helps me out and lets me know that I should create more videos like this. I've been putting out 2 videos a week for a little while now, and I also stream on Twitch multiple days a week, so you can find that link down in the description. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.